shoes. Deborah. Tap one over by you, on the other side of you. Right by your foot. That's your water, I guess.
That's yours, no? That's mine?
There you go. I always check to see at the end and see, make sure no one's getting skipped.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the last City Commission meeting of Coral Springs for this decade. Next year will be a new decade. So we'll do a call to order first. Roll call, I mean.
Mayor Brook,
Here.
Commissioner Sarah, Commissioner Vignola,
Present?
Commissioner Simmons,
Here.
Vice Mayor Carter,
Present.
City Manager Goodrum, City Attorney Hearn.
Here.
If everybody would please rise. And we always lose some people after the meeting begins, so on behalf of the entire city, we'd like to wish you happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever you might celebrate. Wish you a lot of health, safety, and a lot of love this season. So if you'd join us in about a minute of silence and whatever's in your heart. Thank you. Next, we have our Pledge of Allegiance. Originally, we're going to have all three of my grandsons come up, but one has a show at Sawgrass Springs, and the other one was misbehaving. So the one that wasn't misbehaving is my grandson Landon Post. He's in second grade at Glades Christian Academy. So Landon, please come to the mic and lead us in the pledge.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Indivisible, with liberty.
Great job, Landon. Great job. I got a present for you. That was great.
Right here, buddy. Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a nice first for me. Thank you for doing that, Landon. Next, we have a great recognition of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas football team. So, Commissioner Sarah, if you'll join me for this one. And we're recognizing, all of a sudden. And then we're recognizing them for winning their first district championship in 18 years. So I'm calling up all of you by name. We have Michelle Kefford, the principal, accepting the award. Albert Guzzo, did I pronounce that right? Or Guzzo? Guzzo, I like Guzzo. The athletic director. Quentin Short, the head coach. Yay! Hello again, great to see you. Great to see you. Congratulations. George Laporte, assistant coach. Come on up, George. Elliot Bonner, assistant coach. How are you? You're welcome. Ryan Belk, senior captain. Come on up, Ryan. Congratulations. Brian Smith, senior captain. Congratulations. How are you? Hey, Ryan. Congratulations. Nice to meet you. Alex Rodriguez, senior captain. I guess if you had the whole football team, it would be a little crowded. Congratulations. Thank you. Tyler Abundanza, senior. That's probably my favorite name of the night. Ryan Schroy, senior. Anthony Iral, senior. Congratulations. And Matthew O'Dowd, quarterback. And who are we missing? Christian? Christian Higgins, come on up. Congratulations. How are you? Congratulations, doing great. Nice to meet you, Christian. Congratulations. So for the first time since 2001, this Eagle football team won a district championship. It's also the first time since 2007 that the Eagles participated in a postseason game. So these guys are amazing. And that's where my daughter-in-law went to school too, so that's where we're taking some pictures. Yay, go Eagles! It wasn't the ending that the team would have hoped for, but the Eagles completed a historic season with their first district championship in 18 years. Stoneman Douglas finished the season 8-2 under our new head coach, Quentin Short, and had the opportunity to host Miami High School in the regional quarterfinals in the first ever playoff game at Cumber Stadium in Parkland. The Eagles got a field goal early in the game, but unfortunately lost a little bit to a lot of bit. No, 28-3. According to Coach Short, the team is losing, unfortunately, a great senior class, and many of them are being honored tonight. Many of them have received offers and are interested in playing college football. So on behalf of the commission, the city, we congratulate the Eagles on a fantastic season and your first district championship. Congratulations. So who'd like to, Commissioner Sarah will present a certificate, and then we'll hear from you all who would like to say a few words. And come shift this way. Shift over this way.
Well, on behalf of the commission and my other role as the BCA director, I want to congratulate you guys on a tremendous season. Ms. Kefford, you've been a colleague and friend. You're doing an amazing job as the principal at that school. Coach Guzzo, the athletic director from Flanagan and now transitioning over. And Coach Short, first year season, I mean, district champions, Coral Springs Kings, you know, you beat them all. And just a tremendous, tremendous accomplishment. And I had the privilege of attending a couple year games, Monarch, an exciting comeback, and a lot of others. And we're just very proud of the rest of your coaching staff, especially Bonner. You're like the unofficial mayor of a bunch of cities. So, and all the players. Brian, I want to congratulate you on being the Brian Piccolo recipient for your school, a tremendous accomplishment. So, and the rest of you guys, if you're not aware, today is National Signing Day, and I was brought up to speed that many of you have offers, but you want to sign as a family in February, and I find that to be pretty remarkable, but also the culture that you've built at your school, Coach. So on behalf of the commission, I'll switch hands here. On behalf of the commission, we want to congratulate the Eagles for winning the 2019 district championship. Your entire team, parents, and staff should be very proud of this great accomplishment. We commend you for this historic season, and we wish all of your players continued success during this school year and beyond on behalf of the entire commission. Congratulations. Turn it over to Coach Short.
I just want to say thank you for having us here. It was a great season, and these guys they put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of sweat and tears. And so proud of this group, especially the senior class. Like you said, we have a large senior class that we'll be losing, but we returned several key guys that are coming back that are juniors. But just so proud of these guys, and like you said, we have several guys that are going to get to play at the next level. And we had 5 guys selected for the Broward Dade All-Star Game on January 10th, which is the most in school history. And we had 4 guys that played in the BCA All-Star Game last week. So, you know, it was a great year, a lot of accomplishments, and these guys should be very proud. And I'm just glad that we were able to represent our school and the city of Parkland. And, you know, everybody knows what happened there, and we've been able to overcome. And these guys are, especially these seniors, these guys are leaving with something very positive that they're going to remember for the rest of their lives. But thank you guys for having us here, and I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Yeah, give them a round of applause. So, would any of the young men like to say a couple of words about your season and where you're headed? It looks like it's you. And let us know your name and your position.
I'm Brian Smith, the senior running back, and on behalf of all of us, we'd just like to thank the coaches, you know, athletic director, our principal, just for believing in us the whole season, you know, and just like giving us the guide, you know, and we just put in a lot of work, and we just appreciate y'all.
I wanted to say thank you for everyone for recognizing us for this award. It really means a lot for us. You know, we came through a lot as a family, we've come together. Really like sad about all going separate ways in college, but it was a great season together, and we have a bond that we're gonna have for the rest of our lives with these kids. So it was nice.
Well, first, I mean, it was great being with everyone on my team. I mean, especially like I've never thought I could like bond with such a team that I did this year and make so many friends that I know even if we go our separate paths, like we'll still be friends and we'll always hang out, and I'll always do anything I can to help these people out. It's been a great journey with every one of them, and hope the best for everyone that I've met at Stoneman Douglas and everybody on the team for sure.
Real quick, I just want Ryan. He's going to be attending Yale next fall, playing football. Brian's still deciding on what he's going to do. He'll have something in February. Alex is going to be a paramedic. Tyler is deciding whether he's going to attend Penn State or if he's going to play football. He's still up in the air on that, but he has several offers already to play on Division III level, but he's still trying to figure out if he's going to do that or just attend Penn State. Ryan's been accepted to Appalachian State, so he'll be attending there in the fall. Our quarterback, he's a junior. Matt is coming back, so he's still got another year. And then our wide receiver, Christian Higgins, has a couple offers he got last week, but he's still trying to decide what he's going to do, and he'll be doing something in February as well. But, again, proud of all these guys, and thank you for having us here.
Just want to thank you all for recognizing these amazing young men and these equally amazing older gentlemen. But it's been just such a pleasure to watch you guys. You've heard me say it before. Being a Florida State fan and a Dolphins fan, they were definitely my light this football season. But as amazing as they are on the field, they are even more so amazing in the classroom. And it's just such an incredible group of young men. And we're all so proud of you guys. This is so well deserved. And we all love you.
Thank you. So we're about to take a picture, and I just want to thank you one more time for also being leaders in our community. You guys have been through adversity, and you show resilience, and I can imagine the impact you've made on your peers and our community. So I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts here in the City Commission of Coral Springs. So thank you.
So we're going to take the players to kind of flank the coaches and then put the city officials kind of in between? Does that work? Otherwise, it's just too off balance.
Sounds good.
That's great. There you go. That's it. That's a little more balance.
And we'll come in between the two
Yeah, that would be
coaches.
awesome.
Sound good? Okay.
And then everybody's going to take, just watch me, you're all going to take, like, I know it sounds, but we have like a logo, like one big step this way.
All right.
That's it. Perfect. You'll appreciate this tomorrow.
All right. Congratulations.
Ryan.
I'm coming down to you, buddy.
John Hearn. Your dad's buddy.
Yeah, I know.
All right, you gotta, let me know if I can ever help you with anything, or anybody you know, all right? Congratulations again. Welcome, congratulations. Awesome. Let me know.
It's my son's name as well.
Curly?
Oh.
All right, that was very nice. Next on our agenda is public comment. Are there any signed speakers?
Yes, Mayor, we have 3 signed speakers. First, we have Joe Morera, Nancy Mateer, and Randall Cutter.
All right, come on up. Bless you. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Good evening. Joe Morera, 3275 Northwest 114th Lane. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, and City staff. I want to say thank you to Christy Bartlett and her team for the great comprehensive economic development strategy plan. It has a wealth of information and that addresses many important issues in the city. I thought it was a well-crafted document. Also, one of the points that they made is changing the name of the corporate park to the Commerce Park. I think that will help in advertising and promoting that as a more viable place for businesses to come into. That was a great idea. Also, one of the questions that came to me when I was reading the article is, do we have an exit survey for businesses that do not succeed in the city? So that we understand what are the causes that made them not be successful in our city. We offer a lot, and we will be offering a lot more in the future, but it would be good to learn for those that were not as successful as we expected them to be. Also, I would like to thank the city staff and all the members of the the Broward County Firefighters Local 3080 for all their work in achieving an agreement that provided our firefighters the benefits that they have earned. I hope we will receive the support of the members of the union. One of the events that I attended was the downtown in December. I thought it was a well-attended event. Great job for all the staff that took part in putting that together. I thought it was phenomenal. Good attendance by the residents. This year marked my 19th year of attending the city parade. It's a family tradition, and this year was made special because 2 of my older children were able to join me. It's been a long time being an empty nester. When your children come home and you're able to reminisce on some of those old things that you did when they were younger, it brings joy to our family unit. And having the routine of putting our chairs on the sidewalk and then having dinner at Wings Plus, and then going back and seeing the parade, I think it's a wonderful thing to have that opportunity to do that this year. So hopefully it may come to be again in the future, but can't control our adult children anymore. Also, as you know, 2020 will bring its share of challenges both in our city and in our country that we will have to overcome. If we work together, we believe that we'll be able to find solutions that can strengthen our resolve and make us a better community. I want to wish you all Merry Christmas. I celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah and Happy Kwanzaa. May you all have a new year with lots of health and tranquility that will bring peace to our lives. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Joe. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome, Nancy.
Nancy Mateer, 9833 Northwest 54th Place, Coral Springs, Florida. Happy holidays, Mayor and City Commission. I'm here today to urge the city on the We Are Still In declaration in the support of climate action. Mayors and or city governments, governors, and business leaders first began signing the We Are Still In declaration in June 2017 as a promise to world leaders that Americans who would not retreat from the global pact to reduce emissions that stem from climate change. The bipartisan coalition has since doubled size, expanding to include over 3,500 representatives from all 50 states, spanning large and small businesses, mayors, governors, university presidents, faith leaders, tribal leaders, and cultural institutions. We Are Still In signatories represent a constituency of more than half of all Americans, and together they represent 6.2 trillion, a bigger economy than any nation other than the US and China. We Are Still In is an effort coordinated by the American Sustainable Business, Bloomberg Philanthropies, Center of the American Progress, National League of Cities, to name a few. So who's in? 2,234 business investors, 287 cities and counties, and in Broward County, we have Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, Lauderhill, and Sunrise is forthcoming. In Palm Beach, the city of West Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, Miami Beach, Miami, South Miami, Surfside, and Florida governmental entities that are signatories of this coalition is Gainesville, Key West, Orlando, St. Petersburg, Tallahassee, and Tampa. So today I'm asking the city of Coral Springs to take action and join We Are Still In coalition and sign the declaration. For more information, please log into www.wearestillin.com, or if you would like to discuss this further, I'm open for a conversation at 954-507-2095. That's 954-507-2095. Thank you.
Randall Cutter, 12655 Northwest 17th Place in Coral Springs. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, I'm looking around to see where that went. Okay, still. Okay. Anyway, I am here tonight to be able to, first of all, thank the commission to be able to, and the rest of the commissioners, by the way. I think I stopped at Vice Mayor, got to back up. But I'm here to thank the commission today because of the fact that you came out. I'm representing the Clergy Coalition tonight because a bunch of you came out to support the Thanksgiving Unity Service again. And as leaders, and Mr. Mary did such a great job with the proclamation, along with Mayor Hunchofsky, that your role in leadership, you set such an important example to the citizens of this community. That's an awesome unity event, and I was so pleased to see so many of you were able to make it, because I know your busy schedules, and so I am quite pleased that you were able to do that. Also tonight, I wanted to, as the pastor of New Dawn Community Church, issue a special thanks to the Planning and Zoning Department. On the Tuesday night before Thanksgiving, we had our special event, the Unity Service, and then the next day I was sitting in our lawyer's office because we were about to close on a facility in town, because we all know it's important that, you know, you move from the facility across the way to a new place. We were closing on it on the Monday after Thanksgiving, and of course, Coral Springs offices are closed throughout the entire Thanksgiving holiday. On Wednesday afternoon, we were sitting in the lawyer's office, and we saw that one of the other representatives of another agency in the closing that was going on had dropped the zoning letter. Now, we were closing the next business day because of the holiday. And this was at 2 in the afternoon, and we're closing at 11:30 in the morning on Monday, the next business day. So I thought, well, I better call the city of Coral Springs and find out how you can do this. And they said, well, get up here and fill out a form right now. You know, you won't be closing Monday morning, but we are going to do everything we can to facilitate this. And I was amazed by how kind they were, how helpful, how professional, how they expedited the process. Louis Vicentini, and if I did anything wrong to his last name, my apologies, but he was kind of the person who led me through. But even the other staff members, I went down to pay the fee, and someone else from the office met me down there and walked me back up to the office. The entire process was painless. They were encouraging every step of the way, and we finally got the thing closed. So it was wonderful, and I just wanted to compliment planning and zoning, and of course, every one of the employees that helped out. And finally, Mr. Goodrum, blessings to you as you move to Sugar Land and take up your new post. I will pray that God make your transition painless and that you are able to enjoy yourself in your new post. God bless you. Okay, and everyone have a great holiday.
Would anybody else from the public wish to be heard? All right, seeing none, public comment is closed. We are next on to public hearings and special meeting announcements. First is item number 3, ordinance 2019-128.
This is an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, pursuant to Section 166.041 Florida statutes to amend ordinance 2019-124, finalizing and adopting the annual operating budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2019-20 by amending Exhibit A, the annual operating budget, and Exhibit B, the capital improvement program, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for effective date. Mayor's request to open a public hearing, approve and set the second reading for January 15, 2020.
Okay, we have a public hearing. Catherine?
Hello. Bringing this agenda item on the budget amendment for the city's ERP has been a significant undertaking with many departments since 2015 when it was identified for the city's internal city operational infrastructure need. And it's been in the strategic plan through that time. So in the current plan, the agreement and implementation is the next step. And I am bringing the budget amendment to you all, which has 2 actions in it. The first is to move $500,000 that is in fund balance in the debt service fund to partially pay for the new system. And 2 is to add the $5.3 million project into the capital improvement plan that will pay for the system and the operational support over the next 10 years. A couple items to note. As this has been a project that we have been working to move forward operationally, we have been doing so also financially. We've been looking at our 5-year forecast, as you very well know, and we've been keeping this project in mind as we've continued our positive 5-year forecast. So that is something that we are keeping in mind, operational and financially. Later in the meeting, then Stephen's going to talk a little bit about the project itself, but the entire project cost is $7.8 million, which includes that $5.3 million, and also includes some of the operational and maintenance as well. Kim will come up and talk about the debt service, the borrowing that amounts to $4.8 million as also, but as I mentioned, this is the work of a lot of people. A couple people I want to thank is Kim Moskowitz, the finance director, Stephen, our IT director, Bob, the assistant city manager, Melissa Heller, deputy city manager, Dale Pasdra, the HR director, Mo, project manager, their staffs. This is a very large undertaking, and we appreciate your support.
Questions for Catherine? My grandson's clapping for you, Catherine.
More of a statement, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Going over this agenda for this meeting, obviously this stuck out to me because we're looking at very large numbers.
Right.
And so, you know, I was able to speak with you, Catherine, and I just want to say to you, thank you for, you know, walking me through this and breaking it down to me and helping me better understand, you know, what's happening with this system. And I know that it's something that's necessary. You and outgoing city manager Michael Goodrum had been talking about, you know, updating our systems for a very long time. And so, you know, you talked me through this so that I could go down a bit easier and so that I could understand it. So just wanted to say thank you for offering your time to explain this to me.
This is a public hearing. Would anybody like to be heard? Okay, the public hearing is closed. May we entertain a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? It's been a long time coming, and I hear a lot of excitement from a lot of departments, and I look forward to a lot of efficiency, economies of scale, and even more enthusiasm than we currently have. So, and I appreciate everybody's work to get us here. Further comments? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously, 5-0. Thanks, Catherine. Next is the consent agenda. Are there any pulls? I'm pulling number 6 to highlight the Voices for Children of Broward County.
I was pulling, so you're fine.
Great, well, we can both highlight it. Okay, Commissioner Simmons has moved the balance. Is there a second? Second. There's a second. Any further discussion on the remainder of consent besides 6? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. So number 6, you can share a little bit first, Vice Mayor Carter.
I just wanted to, I'm sure it was going to be the same thing you were going to say, just how impressed I am that there are people always in our community that step up for the underserved populations and the often unrecognized populations, and I find that this is going to be a great event that helps these children.
Wonderful. So Thelma is actually here. She's the founder of Rita's LLC for Beach Days Family Fun Weekend. And I just want to highlight something in the background of the event. Voices for Children of Broward County works to ensure that every abused, neglected, and abandoned child in the county has a court-appointed guardian ad litem, and that financial resources are available for each child's accompanying health, educational, and social needs. And the funds that are raised from this program, from this event, will support the program. There is a shortage of guardian ad litems in our county. With my family law background, I know the value of a guardian ad litem, and I just want to personally thank Thelma for being a guardian ad litem and for leading this event. Thelma, would you mind waving to us? Thank you. And welcome back to Coral Springs. Thank you, Thelma. Any further discussion? Joshua?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As someone
I didn't
who
hear that.
has worked with children in group homes and foster homes, kids that were at ChildNet, and seeing and having to work with some of those children who had guardian ad litems, I know how important it is to have that role model in your life and someone to stand for you when oftentimes when you look at these children's backgrounds, no one has stood up for them when they should have. And I thank Thelma for speaking with me about this event as well and letting me know about the work that she is taking on when it comes, at least with this carnival. I know she does so much more, but this is a huge event, and I'm happy that we're able to host it again and be able to help support your mission in life too, Thelma. So just wanted to say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to thank Thelma for driving all the way out from Fort Lauderdale again. I enjoyed our conversation. I appreciate your passion and the hard work and leadership that you provided for this upcoming event. I really encourage our residents and our community to rally behind it. It's for a great cause, and just know that we appreciate your efforts in advance. So thank you.
So those of you watching online or at home, save the dates, January 17th to the 20th, and come on out, bring your family, and you'll be supporting a great cause. So I heard a motion from Vice Mayor. Oh, it's at the Sportsplex. It's at the Sportsplex. Yeah, good question. Yeah, let everybody know. There's a motion from the Vice Mayor, second from Commissioner Simmons. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Carries unanimously. Thank you. We're next on to Policy Formation and Direction, item number 9, Swim Coach Services. Good evening, Rick.
This is a request to extend our current contract with our swim coach for 6 months. During that 6-month period, we will go out for an RFP to see if we will continue with our current coach or if we would decide to go with a new coach. But we had a 6-year contract that is expiring. We need the time to go out and do a thorough search. That's why we're asking for the 6-month extension. The current coach is doing a great job. We're not displeased with the services he's provided. We just need to go through this process.
You can have a motion if you want, or just.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I imagine it's unanimous.
Approved 4-0, Mayor Brook absent.
Okay. Thank you, Rick. On to item 10.
This is ordinance 2019-126, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, pursuant to Section 166.041 Florida statutes to amend ordinance 2019-124, finalizing and adopting the annual operating budget and capital improvement program for fiscal year 2019-20 by amending Exhibit A, the annual operating budget, and adding museum fund, and Exhibit B, the capital improvement program, providing for conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. We already had our first reading. This is second reading. Simply request to approve and adopt.
I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
I think you did a great job the first time. Thank you. I need a motion. Seconded by Commissioner Sarah. All in favor? Deborah, you look confused. Aye for me also. Why do you look confused?
Oh, you me?
Yeah, no? Oh,
No.
oh, okay.
Just watching people moving around.
Okay.
Seatbelt sign is off. You can move around the cabin, apparently.
Okay.
We'll go-
Okay,
That was approved.
moving on to, okay, that was approved. Moving on to item 11.
That's 2019-127, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, amending Chapters 3 and 5 of the Code of the City of Coral Springs to create, adjust, move, and remove certain administrative and user fees, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. Request to approve and adopt on second reading.
You're also just to answer any questions that you may have.
Did a good job the first time.
All right, no questions? Entertain a motion?
Moved, I mean, first. I,
Motion to approve.
Motion to
Boy,
approve.
I'm off tonight.
From Vice Mayor.
thank you.
Is there a second? Second, any discussion? We'll do a roll call vote because there was hesitation on the second. So start with you, Commissioner Sarah? Aye. Commissioner Vignola? Aye. Mayor Brook, aye. Commissioner Simmons?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Carter?
Aye.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Next is number 12. Am I correct? Economic Development Strategic Plan
Correct.
with Christy Bartlett. It's a request to adopt the Economic Development Strategic Plan. Christy, take it away.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Waiting for the presentation to come up. There we go. All right, so last month, Camoin 310 presented the Coral Springs Economic Development Strategic Plan at a workshop to gather input and feedback from you. They took that information and incorporated it into an executive summary and an action plan matrix. The executive summary is a series of recommendations. The action plan matrix is a spreadsheet that you have before you, and that aligns with the strategic goals of the city and includes tasks and action items. Today, I'm going to present that action plan to you, and I'm requesting adoption. So the city embarked on the Economic Development Strategic Planning process to provide a framework for the City of Coral Springs Economic Development Office that includes core goals and the partners, resources, and performance metrics to achieve those goals, to improve the business climate and associated perceptions, establish a vision and define a value proposition for the corporate park, align real estate and industry market opportunities with marketing and communication tactics, and define development opportunities by location within the city. So the strategic planning process included a lot of community engagement. We utilized Bang the Table, which is an online platform for residents and businesses. We also conducted interviews with city management, staff that included development services, communications and marketing, budget and strategy. We met with CRA merchants, corporate park businesses, manager of the Coral Square Mall, the CRA board, the Economic Development Advisory Committee, and members of the City Commission. In addition to these interviews, we held a community workshop that was in late August. It had different stations where the attendees could go and learn more about the process. They had a map where they actually put where they congregated and where they hung out. Then we actually asked them to look at architecture and different signage within the city and to put their ideas on a vision board for the downtown. We had a business survey that went out to 5,000 businesses in the city, and the general perception of the city was actually pretty lukewarm. About as many people said we had a very friendly business environment as said that we had a very unfriendly business environment. So everyone was kind of right around the middle. The business climate perception suffered primarily because of sign compliance issues, and that was really just the length of the process. We also had internal meetings with a working group made up of public and private sector participants, and they provided feedback and kind of served as a sounding board to Camoin. I mentioned Bang the Table. That was this online platform where we asked everyone, do you want to be an urban planner for a day? If you have $10 million, how would you spend it in the downtown area? What would you see the downtown to look like? Then we had some surveys on there as to why do you live in Coral Springs? Why do you stay in Coral Springs? What brought you here? And what types of businesses would you want to see in the city? So here are some photos from the community event. You can see some of the boards and the different ideas that went up there. We heard from a lot of people that wanted an event venue. They wanted breweries, they wanted wine bars, so they wanted rooftop bars. So of course, we'd like to see those incorporated at some point. So the various interviews and research that assisted Camoin in the creation of a vision statement for the city. This was presented at the workshop last month, and we've tweaked it a little bit. The city of Coral Springs will be recognized as the most professional, business-friendly location in the state of Florida.
That's awesome.
So supporting this vision are 4 key goals areas associated by Camoin in the matrix. They are business climate, municipal functions and leadership, physical environment and placemaking, and then marketing and communications. So the business climate, these are all the goals. The city of Coral Springs will be an active partner with entrepreneurs and businesses of all sizes to help them prosper. Municipal functions and leadership, the city of Coral Springs will be an open, enthusiastic problem solvers. Its employees will patiently listen, question, and learn from its citizens and businesses, and respond with courteous, prompt, accurate, and complete service. I think we're already doing a pretty good job of that, as we heard from earlier. Physical environment and placemaking. The city of Coral Springs will work diligently to optimize the built environment with visually appealing, highly functional places for the public to gather, work, and recreate. Specific focus should include workforce housing options, modern amenities, and neighborhoods that help foster a strong sense of community, all of which helps attract and retain investment. And finally, economic development, communications, and marketing. We will promote a culture that encourages new ideas and business formation, increases private investment, and helps sustain profitable growth and prosperity. So each goal or area has a series of actions associated with it, and each action has a priority, whether it's high, medium, or low, and a timeline that is short, mid, or long, and those are all in the matrix that you've got with you. Not all the recommendations that were in the executive summary are included in the matrix. For example, we decided not to move forward with rebranding the downtown. They suggested changing the name, and we just didn't think that was a great idea. We also thought that work-based learning opportunities address recommendations for lifelong learning, youth involvement, and volunteers, and that would be a way to support talent and business retention.
Can you repeat that, Kristen?
Sure. The second half? They had some input in there that they wanted us to include more youth involvement and volunteer opportunities and lifelong learning. And we think that could be combined for work-based learning opportunities. Those are internships, externships, job shadowing, mock interviews, things like that actually you'll have volunteers on both parts. You've got your students that are volunteering, you've got your adults that are actually providing the feedback to them, whether it's the mock interviews or the job shadowing opportunities. So we thought that combined everything into one that really deals with our goals for talent development and retention. And then some of the items are already underway. We have reconvened meetings with the Corporate Park Association. We reviewed the Business Excellence Awards process. Last year we had a little over 60 nominations. This year they closed on Monday, we had 88. So that was and there weren't a lot of duplicates, so we are gonna be very busy meeting with all those businesses in the next couple months. Code compliance has begun notifying our office when there's any violations so that we can go and meet with the business and find out if there's a reason as to why they aren't up to compliance and if we can assist with that. So I'll also be coming back to you on a quarterly basis to update you on our business retention and expansion efforts, social media, and then the progress on implementing this action plan matrix. Many of the items in the matrix are policy related, so we'll be coming back to you for direction on all of that. That will be in workshops and at commission meetings as well. So I'm requesting that you adopt the action plan matrix, and so we can move forward and working with staff, with our private sector partners, and with you to implement. Any questions?
Questions, comments? Commissioner Vignola?
There was apparently changes made to this item today. Because
we didn't, I think when we were doing the matrix, we didn't address as to why we took some of those things out and wanted to make sure that we included it in there, that we weren't just saying willy-nilly we're gonna take something out. We wanted to make sure that you understood as to why we were removing some of those items and combining them.
okay, what items?
We took out the rebranding of the downtown. We combined some of the ones about whether we're doing youth-based learning opportunities and lifelong learning opportunities. We consolidated the ones on affordable housing or workforce housing.
The other thing is when we move forward, I know in here you talk about addressing signage or whatever. I'd like to see, and I asked for this when we had the workshop on this, I'd like to see when we go ahead and talk about signage. I know businesses like to talk about signage, but a lot of residents like to talk about signage in the other way. I'd like to see the correlation between signage and economic development. And when you look at certain areas, I want to see what Palm Beach Gardens, Coral Gables, cities that are doing well in economic development compared to the cities that allow, maybe some more open signage like Hialeah. Because I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I think businesses, it's easy to turn around and point a finger at the city or sign codes or this or that. But when you look at other communities, I mean, some of the cities with more strict sign codes, even Davie has made their sign codes a lot more restrictive. They're doing very well with economic development. So I definitely, before anything signage goes forward, I would be okay with. I definitely want to see us go ahead and look at what other cities are doing sign-related wise, and then also where are they at when it comes to bringing in new businesses and retaining businesses.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Vice Mayor Carter.
Joe Moreira, resident, who brought up the question about the exit surveys. I know that we did them back in the 90s. Is that still being implemented?
If we do find out that a business is leaving, we usually try to reach out to them and find out why they're leaving. Sometimes it's, they don't want to respond to us, but when they do, it could be that they can't find the right property for them. Maybe they need to expand and we don't have the land, we don't have the building. Sometimes it's talent and they can't find their talent. It could be consolidation in that they have other locations and they're looking just to consolidate it and they choose not to do so in Coral Springs. And signage, that is something that we hear often as well.
Yeah, are exit surveys a part of this plan?
They are not. That's something that we just do as part of our business retention and expansion, find out as to why a business might leave.
So they're not, though? Exit surveys are not a part of this plan?
No, because they're already in process.
Gotcha. And do we attempt to survey everyone that closes their doors?
When we find out about them, there are times that all of a sudden you realize a business has closed and they've closed up shop and there's no way to reach out to them.
So maybe there's a process we can contemplate in the workshop in January or February to know about in advance.
Yes.
To contemplate that and see if we can reach out before they close their doors.
And the same thing goes for a new business coming in. Sometimes, we don't know that they've opened until they've already opened. We'd love to get ahead of that so we can help them.
Ideas. Commissioner Simmons, anything?
Yes. Under number 3, item number 4, housing, it says examine ways to place high priority on developing housing targeted towards more moderate income housing. So is that the affordable housing one that you were talking about? That just
More workforce housing, yeah. If you look into the actual report, it shows, national trends and local trends regarding housing, and that a lot of people in Coral Springs right now could not, if they had to purchase or rent their home right now, they could not afford to do so currently, but in the past they could. So it's just recognizing that's something that's going on across the nation and how we can get ahead of it.
Well, and I appreciate you looking into that research. This is the first time I've seen moderate income housing used under the label of affordable housing or workforce housing. So I'm curious as to what moderate income is. I guess what is the moderate income? Because I feel like moderate income, I mean, I'm a teacher. It's not a secret, and the level that we're paid at is not even moderate at this point. So I'm just trying to understand, when we have these words in there, what are we really trying to do? And I really want us to be focused on real affordable housing, especially when we look at the different professions in our city that aren't getting paid what they're worth, the people that aren't getting paid what they're worth.
If you go to page 24 in your executive summary, there's a section there that encourages us to look at developing housing below the median home price. So when they're talking about teachers, government employees, retail employees, and young professionals that would find it hard to live here. Median home price in Coral Springs is just under $345,000. And for rentals, that would be $1,725.
And okay, and so and I see this, and I'll have to take a look at this a little bit later to kind of digest it more. I mean, I've seen it, but I need to go back through it again. But I just want to make sure that we really are continue to attract our younger folks coming back home from college. Continuing to be a premier place for millennials to move to Coral Springs. I got to tell you, I've had a few friends who all in the same age bracket, and they were looking at Coral Springs first. They just couldn't simply afford to live here.
And it's like that all over South Florida. It's
yeah.
like that all over the nation right
Yeah.
now. You're seeing. That's why a lot of kids are going back and living with their parents.
Right. And what I want for us to, though, to be is to really work with these developers to get some affordable units in, or get some affordable places in. Just it doesn't have to be every single lot or every single unit, but let's start making progress on that and be a leader in that department. Because yes, we know it's all over South Florida, but that's we're stating the problem and not finding a solution. And so I hope that's something that I can help, and we can help help you out with as well. So that's it for me.
Sarah?
First and foremost, I want to congratulate you on a great plan. After reviewing it, a lot of hard work to you and your team was put forth, and I appreciate the vision and the passion that you have. I do want to address not necessarily your item, but just operation in general. Commissioner Vignola mentioned that there were some additions or deletions to the plan, and this is no reflection on you. I'm just trying to better the organization. In my position, if I go to a briefing or I'm reviewing the backup and there are changes, I would appreciate it if the entire commission can be aware of those before we come here and have to vote on something, because I didn't have the time to vet it or properly review it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm 100% prepared on everything all the time, but I try to be. And in this particular case, this is once again not a reflection of this item, just all items moving forward. If there are additions or deletions, I'd appreciate it if the commission has the opportunity to be in the loop.
Okay, yeah, we would all appreciate that, and we know you're working hard, and it took a lot to get here. We've never been here, right? We were born in 1963, and this is the best plan I could imagine. So I want to say thank you also first, as Commissioner Sarah did, and everybody who was involved with your efforts to get here. And thank the city manager to making sure you got here. So a couple of things I'd like to highlight from your plan that I love. One of my favorite things is number 1 under recommendations on page 17, because I've been looking for that for many years, and we're here. So I'm hoping everybody supports this. And the recommendation, the first one you make says this: create a culture of getting to yes amongst city staff, and adapt a mission of city staff to reflect service attitude towards residents and businesses. So I think sometimes in the past, a few of us may have taken a little bit too much pride in being able to say, no, that's not how we do things. But I think if we're listening and we're engaging and we have that get to yes mentality, we're not always going to say yes. But having that mentality can make anybody that is wanting to be heard feel heard. One of the things that I hear and appreciate from so many residents and businesses is they appreciate when the commission is listening to them, even if we differ from them. And having staff on the front line that's going to have that mentality, I can see economic development in our city just continuing to boom. And again, along those lines, I want to send my acknowledgement to the prior commissioners that had the investment and the vision for this city hall. Despite it being a potentially tough political position to take, because this is the next step into what's going to happen with downtown and really furthering our economic development. About the signage, 10, 11, and 13, great highlights. I'm looking forward to whatever the next round of signage reform would be that I imagine will be aesthetically appealing. We had a few rounds, back about 10, 12 years ago, and they all have worked out. And they've all supported businesses and growth and our tax base. You have here in marketing, communications, and the subject matter, the goal is to promote a culture that encourages new ideas and business formation, increases private investment, and helps sustain profitable growth. And the only way we can get there is with open minds. So having this leadership and this vision and having that out there on the front lines, it's going to take us to another level. And there's one other thing I wanted to highlight in the plan that I loved. Hopefully I can find it readily. And if not, I'm just moving on. I am not finding it readily. I may find it later. But again, I want to extend my appreciation, and I'm looking forward to the vote. Any further comments or questions? Okay.
I mean, I will say, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, and I know that we've raised, you know, some questions about certain things in here, but we all understand that, you know, even when we went through our strategic planning retreat, and you walked out of there with about 30 items, you can understand that this is a huge priority for the commission, and that we just really want to make sure this gets done, you know, the right way. And that's, you know, not saying you won't be able to do the job. It's just we're going to have really big eyes on this because we know that this can transform Coral Springs and help solidify its modern identity and bring us forward. And so, you know, we appreciate you, you know, getting to work on this and bringing this back. It's highly detailed, and we appreciate you for that, and your work and your staff, your team's work with that. So, you know, I am excited to see this. I'm excited to actually have a plan to refer back to and to kind of watch the progress going forward.
So I did find it, and it's on page 18, and it talks about a first step for all of us as elected representatives, that we should be exploring homegrown preferential treatment of businesses when competing for city-issued contracts. So the message from the dais was heard about buying local, looking to do that, and you continue to say this would send a powerful message that the city encourages startups and supports its business owners. So that's awesome. No further comments from me. Anybody else?
Just want to say thank you. I know it's a lot of work and a lot of moving pieces all the time, and hearing from a lot of different people in the community and the commission, and we do appreciate all the hard work you put into this.
Okay, who'd like to move forward? Moved by Commissioner Simmons. Second by Commissioner Vignola. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Thank you so much. Next is item number 13, Resolution 2019-061, Financing and Purchase of Enterprise Resource Planning, ERP System.
Mayor-
Moskowitz, Stephen Dyer.
Mayor, if I can briefly, there's going to be two items here. One's the resolution, which I'll read in a second, and the second one, which is the special obligation note, and the second one is going to be the actual contract for the software. So I'll read this resolution into the record, 2019-061. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Coral Springs, Florida, authorizing the issuance and sale of a special obligation note, Series 2019, in the aggregate principal amount of not exceeding $4.8 million to the Key Government Finance, Inc., the lender, for the purpose of financing the cost of acquisition and installation of an enterprise resource planning software system and paying the cost of issuance of the note, making findings and determinations as to said note, accepting the proposal of the lender to make a loan to the city and purchase the note, providing for the method of execution of the note, approving the form of a loan agreement with the lender in connection with the note, and authorizing the execution and delivery of such loan agreement and the note. Appointing a registrar and paying agent for the note, authorizing other required actions in connection herewith, providing for severability of invalid provisions, and providing for an effective date. Request to approve and authorize that resolution. And then, so there'll be two votes again, that on the resolution after the presentation, and secondly, on the contract for software.
Great, thank you, John. Welcome, Kim.
Hi. Just want to let you know that we went out for borrowing for $4.8 million. Nick Roca, our financial advisor from PFM, is here. He went out and did an RFP. We got 12 responses for a 10-year term loan, and we got a low 2.07% rate. And Albert Del Castillo here from Greenberg Traurig, our bond counsel, he negotiated with Key Government Finance, and the agreements are here, ready to sign them on your approval. So thank you to everybody and to the ERP team for their work.
For the presentation, Stephen?
The ERP system that we currently have, our current financial system, was implemented in 1990. So
What year?
1990. So to put that in perspective, we have several employees who were born after this was implemented. We did a competitive bid process. We had 5 submissions. We selected Tyler. Feel comfortable that this is going to provide a lot of efficiencies. Some of them are going to be eliminating repetitive data entry, reduced processing time, increased transparency, a lot of paper reduction, enhanced reporting capabilities, more advanced GIS mapping integration, citizen alerting. There's going to be a lot of benefits. Believe it or not, technology has advanced a little bit in the last 29 years, so it's long overdue, but we're hoping for your support.
Any questions?
I just want to make a comment. When we were making our rounds earlier this evening, and Commissioner Sarah and I were in the finance office, and we were discussing methods currently used, we're like, wow, you definitely need to be updated. Yeah, so this is a very good thing.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
That's on the
Seconded?
That's on the resolution.
That's on the resolution. Any discussion on the resolution? All right, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. So next is we're looking for a motion to request to award.
Contract, correct.
By Commissioner Vignola. Second by Commissioner Sarah. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Um,
2.0%, that sounds great. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right, next is number 14, wastewater collection system rehabilitation services. Hello, Richard. On here it says Juan
I'm
Rodriguez.
filling in for Juan tonight.
Okay, good.
The Utilities Division has an annual appropriation of $1 million a year to address inflow and infiltration, which is when you have cracks in sewer lines, cracks at the joints, crack in the laterals that cause groundwater to seep into the lines, and ultimately that wastewater gets sent to Broward County to be treated and sent out for ocean outfall. So this program plugs all those leaks, reduces the amount of wastewater sent to Broward County, and this has been an ongoing program for several years now, and we request your support to continue that program.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Thank you, Rich. And I'm so glad that you're still here. All right, next is number 15, fire union contract ratification. Good evening, Melissa.
On behalf of the entire negotiating team, I am very pleased to present to you the collective bargaining agreement with our fire union. This 3-year contract provides wages that maintain our very competitive market position, maintains our pension benefits, augments the drop from 5 to 7 years, and contributes towards the city's goal of shared health care costs. Finally, like all contracts, there are some housekeeping items that we've tidied up that will improve our mutual ability to administer the contract going forward. We're here to answer any questions you may have.
Questions? None? All right, just comments. Well, can we have a motion first before discussion?
Approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Okay, discussion. Larry. Commissioner Vignola.
Thank you for all the hard work that went into the entire negotiating team, and I want to thank the fire union also. These can be difficult, I guess, but not here in Coral Springs. I think everybody negotiates in good faith and does a great job in coming to something that works both for the members of the union and also for the city of Coral Springs and our finances. This has been a really, really amazingly smooth process for us at this. I know you guys had to do a lot of work, but thank you guys for that. It's been an absolute pleasure going over 3 of these, I guess, over the last 9 or so years. They've all gone very well. So thank you, Steve, and your membership. And
Steve, did you want to say anything? You're good? Awesome. Great.
Smart man.
Great. Anybody else? Comments?
Just
Commissioner
very
Sarah?
impressed with the professionalism, and I've been through a couple of these as well, and this definitely was the smoothest.
Commissioner Sarah.
Yes, first and foremost, congratulations on a lot of hard work, a lot of good collaboration, and we appreciate the membership and the performance at an incredibly high level that you already do. So, the contract is very deserving. The only thing I bring before the commission is, and I shared this with Melissa in my briefing, is as a commissioner going through the contract process for the very first time, and my briefing being last night, I really would love to maybe consider as a commission that maybe we get involved in the conversation a little bit sooner, just because there's a lot of ins and outs and a lot of opportunity, and as the commission that has to be responsible for the fiscal efforts of the entire city and the responsibility of managing it. I just think we need to be a part of that discussion and maybe even give our input updated on the process. Like I said, your team did a phenomenal job, and it's very well deserved. But, you know, we have to make sure that we're watching 3, 5, 10, 15 years from now on what we're giving now. So just wanted to share that with the commission as something for us to consider and maybe city management to entertain.
Well, we do have a little bit of a break between contracts. We've got probably another 18 months or so before we start negotiating again. So there is plenty of time to talk about how we want to refine that process and make it more of a discussion. Certainly, we've got time to do that.
Sounds good. I would echo those sentiments. Any further discussion? I'm very happy you guys reached this in such a smooth way. You guys do a great job. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, carries unanimously. Thank you. Thanks, Melissa. All right, we're on to Commissioner Communications. I will start on the left with Vice Mayor Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time of year is a very difficult time of year where seniors are incredibly vulnerable population for scams. And in our senior meeting today, we had a discussion with Brian Elkin from our law enforcement department, who had over 25 years of experience with economic crimes. And I just want to remind everybody to be very vigilant and cautious to any phone call that asks you for your credit card information, for your PIN number. Your bank will not do this. The IRS will not do this. The IRS has been leaving me messages that it's urgent I call them back for multiple reasons, and I'm sure you've gotten those phone calls as well. Right? When they leave 4 or 5 messages, no, I still don't call back. No matter how nice they are to you, no matter how professional they are to you, that is their job, to scam you and to steal from you. Just hang up. I'm going to ask you to just please hang up, because in our city of Coral Springs, most people don't think is that big, we have 5 agents working on economic crimes, and each of them has 50 cases or more. So this has become a very bad thing for our city, for most cities, and especially for seniors. And the police officer made a really good statement. He says, why rob a bank? He said, where they're going to see my face, possibly chase me and have a shootout, when I can sit behind a keyboard or a phone and still get the money that I want from you. So I'm just asking you, please, please be vigilant. I'm having trouble with that word. If you are called by somebody or you have an issue, please call our non-emergency line at 954-344-1800. I want to wish you all a very happy holiday. Hold your tempers and release your arms to wrap them around someone in love. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. You too.
All right. Forgive me, everybody, if I sound a little interesting, a little under the weather, but I'm gonna get through this as much as possible. So, since this is our last commission meeting before the end of the year, I can't leave you all without a couple of rants tonight. So, the first thing I want to say is I love being a public school teacher, but what I would like to impress upon our city is to I think we should do more to highlight and collaborate with the many wonderful public schools within our city. I wish we highlighted our teachers more, who many may not live in Coral Springs, but provide a thankless service to the children and families in our community. It would be nice to highlight the successes of our public schools. Highlight the teachers and faculty that are definitely not paid what they are worth, but every day go above and beyond for our children and for your children. Often we mention our public schools with negative feelings or negative comments, but I ask that we change our perspective on that and call out the good. It's easy to stick with the bad, but there are some really great things happening in our schools, in our city, and we owe it to the teachers and the students to show that off as much as possible. I would love for us to make sure we create new avenues and create better opportunities to involve all of these schools within our community. I have to say that it pains me when I have multiple teachers or club advisors come talk to me and ask, well, how come they didn't get called about this or to be a part of this particular event? And so I just want the city to know that there are teachers who want to be more involved with the city, and sometimes it's a little hard just trying to get in contact with the right people. So hopefully we can work on something to figure out a way to get more of these students and schools and teachers involved in Coral Springs. All right, so second one. As we head into the new year and we feel an increase of the effects of the national political scene, I want to remind all local elected officials, including my colleagues here, to remember that we are the closest to the people that voted for us. We know our people, and we see past their party affiliations. Yes, we all have ideologies, and yes, they are all shaped by our own life experiences, especially with how we view and engage in politics. However, when residents begin to promote political violence based on the results of a national political dispute or outcome, I say that local elected officials should take every opportunity to quell those fires. And I'm not meaning anything overt, but in our normal conversations, when we see residents out and about, because we have that ability, that we take that time to be a bridge builder, to be in the middle of that, to be in the divide, and calm them. Because at the local level, we can show people, we can remind people that government actually works. The issues that we deal with have no color. The issues we deal with barely have any kind of ideology attached to it. All right, we can be the ones to help keep people calm in this very, very uneasy environment. And I have to tell you, when I see things on TV, when people are saying this is going to happen if this happens, or there's going to be violence if this happens, that's not the language that we're supposed to be using. That's not who we are. I get it. We can agree to disagree. I'm okay with you believing in whatever you want to believe in. I'm not going to try to change your mind. I want you to believe. I want you to have your different view, because what makes us strong is our differences, and that's how we push on each other to be better. But we cannot threaten the fabric of our society, of what makes us America, because of things we disagree with. And so I know that I have had conversations with just people in the city, and we didn't agree on the same ideas or had the same thought processes. But when we walked away, there was no animosity. And so, I know that a lot of times we like to say that, we don't need to necessarily deal with national issues. And I understand that. I understand that perspective. But I think if we have an opportunity to be a bridge builder, to hold the divide together, I think we should take that. And I think that is literally us upholding the oath that we took when we all got sworn in to be elected officials in this city. And so and the last thing I'll say is big kudos and shout out to the staff and everybody in the city for downtown in December and the holiday parade. I stood up here a year ago and I said, when I got elected, the first thing I thought about was the holiday parade. And it is just such a good time. Even meeting with some of the staff and some of my colleagues before we get in the cars. It's a moment for us to just to kind of shed the title of being a commissioner and actually just be family. And there are a lot of cities that would not be able to have the camaraderie that we have up here. And so I just thank everyone for having such a great event for so many different people in this city. I was going around the whole week telling everybody we had the best parade in the entire county, and I dare you all try to match it. I don't care that Fort Lauderdale has boats, but that's fine. We don't need that. We got sample, so.
You got boats, we got sample. We got you.
So you're training Intercoastal for a sample?
Absolutely, okay. Every day. I don't have to worry about alligators in my backyard. Anyway, so it's just thank you so much for providing this for our city. There's so many people that look forward to this time, and what you all provide to our residents is top notch. And so I thank you for that. And then last thing I'll say is happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa to everybody. And I pray that you all have a nice and relaxing rest of your holiday season.
Commissioner Sarah, then me, and then Commissioner Vignola wants to wrap us up.
Sounds good. First and foremost, I wanted to say just how proud I am to be a resident of Coral Springs, and I'm honored to be one of the 5 commissioners doing the work. This is a great team. I'm very excited about our future. 2019's been good, but I feel 2020 is going to be great. I was not part of the commission when we brought Mr. Goodrum in, but I've been honored, and it's been a privilege to work with you for the past 6 months. I feel that you're a very bright and talented leader, and I wish you nothing but success in Sugar Land, and just have a safe trip, and all my best to your family. I want to echo what Commissioner Simmons was talking about marketing schools. As you guys know, I was pretty passionate about that, especially in our strategic planning. I know you were as well. I have had conversation with staff, and I'm excited that the school board, especially Ms. Koch, the chief of public relations, is willing to come out to the city of Coral Springs at the beginning of 2020 to build a more collaborative relationship in this area. So I'd challenge staff to reach out to her and try to set up a meeting, because she has pledged to come out here and start working with us on some of our initiatives around that strategic plan item. As far as Waste Pro is concerned, I live in, I'm very proud of my residency in the Hills, but my neighbors are very concerned about Waste Pro on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, especially since it's recycling day. And I have not done my due diligence coming here before the commission, but I would like staff, I know you guys are great about getting the word out about when garbage and recycling pickups are, but there are some people in my neighborhood that think the recycling is not going to be picked up for 3 weeks, and I really don't want it all in my front yard. So if we can work hard to try to get that message out. I know that Christmas is on the 25th, which is Wednesday, and then we have New Year's Day, the recognized holidays. I'm not sure if there's pickup, but if we can communicate that, I'd really appreciate that. There we go.
Sarah, if I could address your concerns, the only day that Waste Pro does not provide service is Christmas Day. There is service on New Year's Day, so it won't be 3 weeks.
Okay.
Okay.
So it won't be picked up on the 25th, so they'll have a 2-week period? So
It'll
they
be
can
picked up
plan?
the following Wednesday, which will be New Year's Day, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you for the
You're welcome.
information. My neighbors will be very happy. I want to thank staff for an outstanding job with downtown in December and the holiday parade. That was my first experience. I went in a little nervous because I'm not very comfortable riding on the back of a car. I get very motion sickness, and on top of that, I'm just afraid to fall out. But I enjoyed it, and I just thank you guys for putting on just a fantastic event. I want to thank our chamber for their efforts on a daily basis. Enjoyed the breakfast yesterday, and Representative Dan Daly did a really good job giving an update. So he's off from Coral Springs and doing big things in Tallahassee. And last but not least, I would wish everyone a happy holiday and a happy new year. Many of us have gone through some really challenging times in 2019 and have enjoyed many successes, but I wish all of our residents in 2020 the very best year of their life. And if there's anything that I can do, I do not have office hours, but I do take your calls and set up personal appointments around your schedule and mine. My cell phone number is 954-612-7114. Thank you.
Thank you. So I want to start off by thanking everybody here on the dais for making my job so enjoyable and being such a part of a great team. I think we've been doing great things, and we have a lot of great things to come in 2020 and the years ahead, and just really appreciate working with everybody here. We've had a lot of people come share some recent complaints about different things last week, 2 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and I can tell you that the responsiveness through Ask the City, through the city manager's office, and any departments that have been involved, I've never seen it better. Never seen it better. Never seen quicker responses, so thoroughly explained and Ask the City, and it's a great system, and I just want to say thank you for being so on top of things. We had a great holiday party for the Customer Involved Government Committee, and I didn't share this before, but you know, Nancy ran for office in March, and you see Nancy here, and she's at the CIGC and serving in other committees, and I just want to personally and publicly acknowledge Nancy for your commitment to our community. You don't have to have a title to be a leader, and you're a leader in our community, and I love that you come and you're involved and you're engaged, and I just want to say thank you, and happy holidays to you and your family. We have before us a MAIG letter. Hopefully you've all had a chance to read it. And either way, I'll share some highlights of what I'm asking for a motion from the dais, calling for federal background checks and a red flag law, with a letter from mayors around the country. Okay, so that part wasn't working out. So I'll share it, and then hopefully we'll take a vote on it at the next commission meeting. But I'll share some highlights of it. What I had requested is that this actually be before each and every one of you at the dais and also emailed to you. So I'm also horrible with emails, so next time I would ask the city manager's office, when the email goes, text, at least Larry, email is in there to check it out. And sometimes that's how I need it too, because I have 350 emails that I got to catch up on. But a few of the things in this letter talks about the terrible mass shootings that have captured the nation's attention. And we see gun violence that happens every day in America firsthand. Unfortunately, it predominantly comes in the form of suicide, domestic violence, and gun homicide. It actually disproportionately affects young men of color. And the letter that they're asking to put forth to the senators asks for help in our efforts to keep communities safe by passing common sense, bipartisan federal legislation to require background checks on all gun sales and a strong federal red flag law. Since 1994, over 3.5 million sales have been blocked to violent criminals and other prohibited people. That's a good thing. However, current federal law only requires a background check when a gun seller is a licensed dealer, leaving all other sales, such as those negotiated online, unregulated, and unchecked. The House of Representatives has already acted on background checks, and this group is urging the Senate to act and pass legislation requiring background checks on all gun sales. And lastly, I'll highlight two things. Background checks are a foundation, and a strong red flag law provides a tool to disrupt firearm access by those individuals at high risk of committing gun violence. So lastly, they're asking the Senate to pass legislation that requires background checks on all gun sales and a strong federal red flag law. So I'd appreciate if everybody could have that, review it, and we can have a discussion of it at our first meeting in January. I have office hours coming up in January, two that are set so far. They are on January 10th from 10 to 12:30 here at City Hall, and January 17th also from 10 to 12:30. And you can make an appointment by calling 954-344-5911. I also want to extend on that note my appreciation to Lawam. She's been wonderful to deal with, thorough, technically oriented, and really customer service oriented, and I really enjoyed working with her. 2020, we have a brand new year, brand new decade, lots of new possibilities. More than half of us are here for a little bit, around a year or less, so we've got lots of energy. Unfortunately, we've lost some employees that have been with us or about to for many, many years, but we have new blood coming up. We say goodbye to a wonderful city manager, and thank you, Mike, for your service and your dedication and your financial wisdom to bring our city here. And I'm really looking forward to working with our fire chief, soon-to-be city manager, Frank Babinek, who's been a stellar part of our community for a long time. And there's just so much great ahead of us. And I would just ask everybody this holiday season to be kind. Many of us celebrate the holidays not necessarily missing a loved one, but there are some people that miss a loved one, and I'd like us to maybe reach out, be a little bit kinder, a little bit softer. We need each other. I have an expression, there's no us and them, it's all us. We have a united community. We have the best city employees and volunteers in the land. We have first responders that are second to none, city attorney's office, which is fantastic, great city clerk. I mean, The level of professionalism throughout our organization is unbelievable. And what we're able to do for our community in the years to come, I'm just so excited about it. And I just want to wish everybody here a happy holiday, lots of love in your home, and lots of peace throughout our community. And it's a privilege to be here and working with everyone and for our community of thousands of people. And that's all I have. Commissioner Vignola.
First, I want to talk about the parade a little bit. I thought it was an absolutely amazing job by everybody involved, and I want to thank staff for putting that together. It's been a fun time for me and my family to be a part of that for the 10th time. My kids don't remember. 10 times. Wow. This is our 10th time in the parade. My little daughter, who's 8, knows nothing but being in the parade. The first time she was in it, she was in my wife's stomach, and it's kind of interesting. It's been 10 years, and it's been a blast every single time. And although we've gotten a little bit of light rain, I think twice in those 10 years, everything's gone wonderfully, and it's a great, honestly, awesome community event. I want to wish everyone happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, a very Merry Christmas, a healthy, safe, and happy New Year. And then I'm going to get into some other things. A few years ago, when we hired Mike, you don't need to hand that over yet. You can wait. We butted heads, actually, and I love Mike. But the first few months, we butted heads a little bit. And, I went into his office, and I sat down, and I said, Mike, I haven't been giving you a fair shake. And the reason why I felt I wasn't giving Mike a fair shake was we hired Mike, and I pushed to hire Mike because I wanted to change, and I want to do things differently. And change is difficult, and it's a process. And here he was coming in doing the exact things that we talked about him doing, and I wasn't giving him a fair shake. And I think from that time I sat down with Mike, we've had a really good relationship, and it's funny. So before we got that, and I was upset about him by something, I went ahead and I digged up my notes. These are my notes from the interviews from city manager. And since that day we had that meeting, they've been on my dresser drawer. On top of my dresser. And so when I get upset with Mike and there's an issue, I can go through there and say, look, these are the things that he said he was going to do, and this is what he's doing. And I want to just go over some of the notes that I took about Mr. Goodrum, besides the fact that he's from Sugar Land and 88,156 residents. They were annexing another 25,000 in December of 17, apparently. So you're going back into a much larger city. But on top of the notes, the first thing I wrote is major homework. I was absolutely impressed, Mike, with the amount of homework that you did before you even came down here. And honestly, that just blew my mind. You were high energy, you were excited, you were understanding, you said you were going to be very visible, transparent, and fair. You talked about in the first 90 days you were going to meet with staff and the commission and build trust and respect. And I think you've absolutely accomplished that and maintained it. 1 year you want to see the budget out. Boy, did you see our budget out. Economic development, redevelopment, you talked about that and some of the challenges we face with that. And the most visible thing you see with that is movement with downtown and Cornerstone. You talked about opportunities are boundless, and the city's got a great reputation, but definitely budget challenges. And I know when we got into our one-on-ones, I'm sure I wasn't the only one you spoke to about some of our budget challenges. And just for our residents to really understand, when we interviewed Mike, our 5-year forecast had us at $9.2 million in the red in 5 years. So it was a constant battle of trying to find how to make things work. Now our 5-year forecast has over $1.2 million in the black. It's a little over $10.5 million difference on a 5-year forecast. That is amazing. And I don't think we highlight that enough on what you were able to accomplish with that. You led us through the toughest 2 years any city could have experienced. With Irma, obviously with February 14th and the aftermath of that, the loss of our mayor, and one of our commissioners vacating his seat. So I would like the commission, and we've done this before, to give Mike the key to the city of Coral Springs. I know you're going to shake your head, and that's why I didn't want to bring this up ahead of time. And Mike's had a policy of no secrets, and it's always been, if I'm going to bring something up, I tell Mike, and I imagine the commissioners do, and he's always done that to us. But Mike, you've left a hell of a mark here in the city of Coral Springs, and we would not be the same without you. And I would like the commission's support to give Mike the key to the city, because I think someone who's done those things should always be welcomed back and have full access. And you've left an incredible mark. You know, I know one of the things I have here in the notes was you saying that if you're not willing to lose your job, you're not a good city manager. And I can think of quite a few times, Mike, where you were definitely not afraid of losing your job. You're really not, you haven't been scared of anything when it comes to doing your job. You face your challenges head on. You've always stuck up for what is right, including sticking up for our public safety personnel when a pretty prominent person was taking credit for the work that they did. I thought that really just, you know, impressed everybody throughout the organization. You talked about in the notes, respect, being transparent, hands-on with the commission. You have been. Talked about helping the coach commission. I don't think I've ever been a coach. I want to thank you, man. You've left a great mark on the city and on me personally, and I think you've made me a better person. And so if we can give him the key to the city, I would really appreciate it.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Go down there? Yeah. Yeah.
So I've stated multiple times kind of my story with Mike. I mean, this is the only city manager I've known. I mean, I knew the previous city manager just from attending the commission meetings, but you know, as I was running, I was able to get the recording of the interviews. And when I heard Mike speak, never saw him, didn't know anything like that, I just said, oh, this guy sounds really prepared. I was like, he sounds like he could be a good fit for this city. And I was hopeful that they would hire you, because I'll be like, oh, look, they want change. I'm also change. Like, and so like in my mind, I was just like, I was excited when you got hired to work with you, because I knew that we could bounce a lot of different ideas off of each other, because you were something different, that you would, you know, bring your own style to things. And so when we first met, I asked him about, you know, how the Riverside area looked and what we could do to improve that. And that was just me probing to see what kind of person you were. And you dove into it with me, and you spoke to me about that, which is one of our more underserved communities. And so, you know, I really appreciated you for that. The second thing that kind of had me like, oh, this guy really is game time, was when there was that very contentious vote a few years ago about raising the millage rate. And it got to a point where you were just like, look, you all hired me to do a job. If this is the number, I can do it. You know, basically just taking ownership of your role and not kind of just letting things continue to go with the norm, but you took ownership of that in a very critical moment, and that showed me that you were ready for that. And then when you shared the story with me of how our very vocal community let you know that you weren't going to be hired in the interview process, but you said that it was better for you to stick it out, to let the commissioners know what they were facing if they didn't make drastic changes, regardless if you got hired or not. A lesser man would have just left. A lesser man would have just got out of the process and said, you know what, I'm not going to keep wasting my time and spending money here or whatever, or not spending money, but I know they put you up in the really nice and regal La Quinta. I'm messing with you. But the fact that
No joke. That's where they put him up when we interviewed him.
The fact that you decided to stay just to let the city know what they were facing if they continued on this course showed your character. And I'm very grateful that in my first experience with being in elected office, I was able to learn from you, to work with you, to bounce ideas off of you. And I wish you so much success and so much just great positive energy as you return home as the conquering hero. You know, I said it's like LeBron. When LeBron spent 4 years, he said, I spent 4 years in Miami, so I'm going to go home now, you know. I am just really appreciative of you, and so good luck to you.
I like the new nickname, LeBron. Vice Mayor?
Everybody knows my story, and the only thing that I want to say is that I'm grateful that I was wrong. You were the right choice.
So any further discussion on the motion? It's been moved by Commissioner Vignola for a key. I
Second.
have seconded that
Oh,
motion.
you did?
I sure
No
did.
discussion.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Congratulations, Mike, and thank you so much. Ask you to come down,
And I know you probably hate me for this, and you'll probably never talk to me again. But this is the key to the city. This key to the city is proudly presented to Michael W. Goodrum in honor of your contributions to the city and community as city manager. And today's date, December 18th, 2019.
Mayor, can I jump on this? I was going to do it under city attorney, but I might as well just do it while we're talking
Sure,
about him.
absolutely. Yes, John.
It gives me great joy to make him uncomfortable, too, which is wonderful. Like, I remember well, as Commissioner Vignola said, your interview, how prepared you were and how much you wanted that job. And we talked about it and how special you realized this place was in the culture. And I also realized when we started negotiating how difficult it would be for you, someone that had never lived more than 100 miles from his birthplace, a place called Texas that has apparently no ethnicity, because when you came over here, you had no idea about any, spaghetti's Italian food. I mean, it was a lot of learning process for you. And that's it. And when you came, everyone was excited, and you were a change agent. And your time here was not as long as you had planned or wanted, but it was significant. And a lot did happen, as Commissioner Vignola said, and a lot more than that in so many different ways. And when needed, you had strong responses to events, and you showed tremendous leadership. I also learned things you told me. I don't know if I'll ever use them, but maybe they'll be important to me, like never slap a man in the face that's chewing tobacco. It's good to know. I don't know if I'm going to need it, but
These are Texan tips.
yeah, I appreciate it. Mike learned in Manhattan not to wear boots. Those blisters were pretty bad that week for you. But I just want to wish you all the best, and it's been great to be with you. You've got yourself an incredible opportunity, and you're doing what's right for you and your family. It truly was a pleasure to work with you, and may God bless you and your family and keep you always.
So before I turn it over to you, there were just a couple things I want to reiterate from what Commissioner Simmons had said about building bridges with our schools and our teachers. And I happen to agree. For me, teachers are my favorite professionals, and in big part because they give so much and they're not really getting paid. And the teachers here, they helped raise my 5 children and raising my 3 grandchildren. And I wouldn't have wanted to be in this community without the teachers that make up so much of our community. So I just want to reiterate for our staff, for us on the dais, let's do whatever we can to highlight our teachers and the faculty in the schools, including Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, as we did tonight, even though they're not in Coral Springs, they serve Coral Springs. Let's get more teachers and students involved in our city. I would love that. And let's be a bridge builder is another thing that Commissioner Simmons said. I think we have a great opportunity to do so much for the young people and for the teachers and administrators that give so much to our young people, including the charter school. I'd like us to just take that to another level in 2020. And I want to reiterate what Commissioner Sarah said with this opportunity to meet with Ms. Koch, I believe, and Public Relations for the public schools. Take her up on that offer. Let's see what we can do to really get more connected, more united, and really lift our young people that much more. I think more than ever, we need them and what they can contribute to our community, and whatever we can do to facilitate that, I'd love to do that. So that's the end of my additional comments, and we'll turn it over to you, our city manager.
Well, we do have some work to do here, so we're going to have Rick come up real quick. This is to follow back up on the meeting we had, the last meeting, with issues with our pool and request to ratify a contract for the repairs.
Hello, Rick.
Lewis from the Purchasing Department. So Lewis prepared, along with the Attorney's Office, the contract for RDC to make the repairs to the 25-meter pool. The contract's not to exceed $183,000. When we were preparing this, we had hopes that the main drain was not cracked and damaged, which would have saved us $33,000. They did the test on Monday. They found that the main drain is cracked and does need to be repaired, so it will be for the full amount of the $183,000. They have started work on the pool. The saw cuts are done. The polymer was already poured, so the next couple of days they'll be pulling out the concrete and then replacing the pipe and then pouring it back. The length of the contract would be 30 days maximum. They hope to be finished much sooner than that, but you know, with the holidays and everything else, we wanted to give them enough time to make sure it gets done correctly.
Questions? Comments? Okay, is there a motion to approve? Move it. Moved by Commissioner Vignola.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Carries unanimously. Thank you.
Okay. Well, first off, I just, y'all pulled one over on me on this, so, but all of your comments, I really appreciate them. My time here, I didn't actually do anything. The amazing staff actually did everything, and so it was, in most cases, the staff that was here before, just giving them the freedom to be able to do that, and so I'll talk about them here in a minute, but I do want to thank the entire commission. I've enjoyed working with all of you. Lou and Dan are out there, and I want to thank them for giving me the first opportunity to be a city manager as well. And then obviously the late, great Skip Campbell, who I had a horrible interview with. I remember telling John that it was rough. We went at each other, and he worked me over pretty good. And I tried to get a few shots in, but and ended up having a special relationship with him. So I want to thank that group that took a chance on me. In this commission, I'm just really proud of the work that you all done. The ERP that you approved tonight's a great example of a lot of cities still have the old vulnerable software because the commissions haven't made the hard choices. And you didn't make this choice tonight. You made this choice 2-3 years ago when you made decisions with your finances to allow this to happen. And so I just wanted to, Joy, I just thoroughly enjoyed working with you, and you've sacrificed so much. You sacrificed so much personally with your business. I see you when the mayor passed away, and then you stepped up, and you were a rock. You still are a rock, and so I remember when you initially didn't vote for me, and I do appreciate you voting for me after the fact. It was wondering, but it was immediately. I think our working relationship was outstanding to begin with. Josh, just such an impressive young man, and I think I'll be voting for you for some big office one day. But you truly, your heart, you care. You truly care. It's not about political positions. It's not about any of that. It's you truly care. You're ready to get to work. You want to roll your sleeves up. You want to get things done. So much respect for you. Mayor, you know, it's such a difficult time when you came in, and the community needed healing and was coming off of a lot of challenges, and just the fact that you stepped up and were willing to serve in that time and provide the leadership. I'm very thankful for that. Larry, you and I have had an interesting relationship. We butted, you're right, we butted heads a lot. In fact, I remember one time we were in an argument. I said, well, your problem is you want to be me. You want to be a city manager, but you're not a city manager. Go get your own city manager job. And then,
Lo and behold.
then you went and got your own city manager job.
I just follow direction.
But it has been interesting with you, with your profession, and how we've kind of grown as peers and talk much more about city management now. And I've been just impressed, and I've heard from so many people the tremendous job you're doing, and I'm just, really have enjoyed that. Sean, I told you recently, you came in like a 3-4 year commissioner. It's like you've been doing this, coming in, your understanding of complex organizations, and I've really wished I had a chance to work with you longer, but you come in just as a veteran, so enjoyed working with you. John, truly probably one of the biggest highlights has been working with you. I think the world of you. I love you like a brother. And just, I've had a blast in this city. I told somebody that I think what really makes the city special is, and what the glue has been you. And it's been having you in your role, who you were a big coach to me. I don't think I could have done my first city manager job without you, and done it as well, because you were always there for me. We didn't always agree on everything, but I knew you had my best interest and the city's best interest, and this city is blessed to have you. I've loved working with you, and I look forward to keeping in touch. The staff as a whole is phenomenal. I mean, I hit the jackpot. I lucked out coming in, getting to work with the group that I got to work with, and I'm proud about what was accomplished. It was much shorter than I would really want it to have been, but I'm proud of it. But like I said, the staff's the one that did it all. And then for me, it's special seeing Frank come in as city manager. I tried to promote him as deputy city manager early on, and he turned me down. Then I tried to, promote him as something else. He turned me down. So then I said, I'm just going to throw a assistant city manager on your title, and you can just do both, which he didn't balk at. I appreciated that. I'm really proud of Frank, and what he's done with the fire department, which is the best fire department in the country. I don't think it's close. His passion for this city. And I'm going back to the city where I started as an intern, and he's going to be the city manager of the city. He started as a volunteer firefighter, and I think that's special for both of us, and it's special for me to have Frank take over for me. So I just want to thank everybody for the opportunity. And I've had the most fulfilling 2.5 years of my professional life and life, period. So thank you. Turn it over to your new city manager.
Kind of nice when things come full circle.
So I just have a couple things I'd like to say. First, I'd like to start off by saying how honored I am to be able to serve this great community as city manager. I'd like to thank the City Commission for the opportunity and your confidence in allowing me to do this. Thank you to John Hearn, our city attorney. Thank you for your mentorship, your friendship, and I know your support is unwavering, as Mike said, for this great city. So thank you to all the senior staff. Mike hit the nail on the head. We're lucky to have such a talented group of people that look after our city, and I really look forward to working with all of you and accomplishing great things together. So my fire department family, we have a couple of them that are still here. This was not an easy decision, walking away from an active career in the fire service after 27 years and doing what you truly love. But in doing so, I know that the impact that I have the opportunity to be part of is much greater, and I'll always be there to look out for you guys and watch over you. I'll never forget the experiences and the time we've spent together. It truly means a lot to me. And I look forward to working with all of you and cherishing all the memories I have as being part of the fire department. Mike, I appreciate your support, your friendship, being relentless and getting me this this title at some point. You didn't give up. As I said before, you have big boots to fill. You've worked hard to put solid strategies in place that have put our city in the right path towards sustainability, innovation, business expansion, and enhanced public safety. We'll work collaboratively and collectively to further these priorities and build on the work that you've started. We all wish you future success. We wish you and your family much happiness and health. Our city, again, is very fortunate to have such a great group of employees, volunteers, dedicated community members. The staff that serves our community is second to none. They truly care about what they do and the community they serve. As we move forward, every decision we face, we promise will be in the best interest of the community, the organization, and those who serve. I look forward to working with everybody on the dais, all of the city's staff. I'd also like to thank my family for their support and for always being here. My wife's here with us tonight. Being a family member of a public servant isn't always the easiest thing, and you know, everybody up on the dais knows what we're talking about, and a lot of people in the audience know what we're talking about. It does take its toll, and I appreciate all the support that I've ever gotten from my family and them being there for me to sacrifices that they've made for me to further my career. As your city manager, I'll work hard to support our mission and move the city forward. From the very first day, I was given the privilege to serve this community. I've given my heart and soul, and after 27 years of service to the city of Coral Springs, I will continue to do so. I truly believe in leaving it better than I found it, and that's what you're going to get is whatever I can do to leave it better than I found it. So thank you for the opportunity. I truly appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Welcome aboard, Frank. Anything further, City Attorney? Nothing further. Great. We are adjourned. Happy holidays, everybody.